Who am I and why should you listen to me? I'm just an average guy, and maybe you shouldn't. With that out of the way, here's what I wanted to talk about today. Professional sports and how they fit in to the grand scheme of your life as an improving male. As a young man, I myself was a fan of sports, particularly football, American football, the NFL. I was a big San Diego Chargers fan. I grew up in San Diego. I moved away, but I still remain a San Diego Chargers fan to this day. Now, you might say, oh, the reason that you don't like sports anymore is because you have sour grapes because the Chargers always suck. That may be true because they always seem to suck no matter how good a momentum they get going. They seem to blow it. But it's not only with the Chargers. It's not only with the NFL. What I have noticed as I have aged is that the men who hang on to professional sports in their middle age and even in their later years are kind of losers. Now, I don't mean any offense by that, and I don't mean that certainly all sports fans in the older years are always going to be losers. But what you generally see is in the middle age to latter years of a male's life, if he has been a highly dedicated sports fan, he probably hasn't accomplished a whole heck of a lot himself. Now, why is that? Why could that be? Sports is kind of like tribalism. We as humans, in our spirit, in our soul, whatever you might want to call that, we have this drive to fight for something, or to improve, or to build, to create. That is lacking somewhat in modern society. And we, because of our busy lives, we sort of hijack ourselves sometimes, and we lose track of what is important in life. We become distracted with things like sports, because sports plays upon our natural inclination towards fighting for something, belonging to a group. It's somewhat of a gang mentality, isn't it? Everyone wants to be all upset because, well, gangs in urban inner cities are so evil, and we've really got to rid ourselves of that evil in the world. Yet we support it fully, city versus city, as long as it's sports teams that are involved. Now, I know that sounds like a silly argument because sports teams aren't out there killing each other, right? They don't have guns. They're not going to gang warfare in the true sense of gang warfare. That's true. Don't equate what I'm saying. Don't equate gang violence on the streets of South Central Los Angeles with NFL games. That's an unfair comparison. But it does ring somewhat true when you evaluate the way that we work as humans at our spiritual level, or the level of our internal soul being driven to compete and to create and to build. Don't become such a fan of sports that you lose your drive to do something. Don't let sports hijack your desire to build, to create, to improve. Sports is okay. I'm not saying don't go to baseball games or football games with your friends and family, your loved ones, your sons, your fathers. Those things are fine as long as you do it with the mentality of it's just a game and I'm not going to get that caught up in it. When I was in the military, a lot of people always ask these questions about boot camp and training, basic training. Man, how did you get through that with people just constantly yelling at you and barraging you with insults and demanding that you do better, bigger, better, faster? The way that I did it was sort of, I went into it knowing that it was a game. I told myself I'm going to have to play this game for 3 or 4 months. It's just something that I have to do and I have to get over it. It's a mental game that I played with myself. I just tell myself every time I was getting yelled at, this guy still puts his pants on one leg at a time. He goes home at the end of the day to a wife and to kids, and he's a father. You can't take it too seriously. That's how you do it. Don't take sports so seriously that you become so caught up in it, you forget to live your own life and to create your own things and to contribute to the world. I hope it helps.